All right. Okay. This is so you finished your indie game and you think you apparently that's what it says in the program guide. It's and you think you are done is the entire title. I don't know why they cut off the last two words, but anyways, first of all we're Ultra Confusion. I'm the editor of Ultra Confusion. We are an independent video game news and review website based out of Atlanta. We give you a little bit of background here. We tried to be one of the big guys, but with only a cast of 4 people, we found out real quickly that we cannot be the big guys, and also the majority, there's so many copycats out there. There's about 30,000 sites dedicated to trying to be like a Giant Bomb or a GameSpot or an IGN or, oh man, some of the sites have already failed, so I'm trying to remember.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, anyways. So what we did is we changed our tactics. We now put indie games before the AAA titles because there's a ton of people already writing about AAA titles. So let's talk about the little guy where creativity actually still thrives. One of the biggest things I see with indie developed games and indie developed systems, have any of y'all heard of the Ouya?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard the Ouya?
I heard of it.
It's horrible.
Yes,
Okay.
I've seen someone.
Perfect. Okay.
I played on one.
Okay, so I'm actually really surprised that everybody's heard of the Ouya. This is the first convention I've been to in
People have
2
heard of
years
it.
that have heard of the Ouya. Does anyone know how long the Ouya has been out?
It's been over
2
a
years.
year. But it's been in development.
Time.
Yeah,
Are we talking beta?
Probably 2 or 3 years.
two years.
Wasn't it a beta like a year before that though?
Yeah, well, the development kit.
The development kit was, yeah.
One of the biggest things with the Ouya, and like I said, I'm like actually flabbergasted that all of y'all have actually heard the Ouya. I can't tell you how many conventions I've been to where we had a fan table, we had the Ouya set up, we had people come by and try it out, and they're like, oh my god, what is this? It's the Ouya. Oh, that's out? Yeah, it's been out for like 9 months now. Oh shit, I had no idea. This is a great example of falling for that old phrase, the product will speak for itself. If you want to make an independent game, dear God, do not fall in that trap, because that is the quickest way for you to be swept away with about thousands or hundreds of other games just like you. One of the reasons why you see, like, sometimes you have the timing, you've got the product, and you've got just sheer luck, and you become the next Angry Birds, and it just takes off like crazy. But you have to put in the work. When you complete the game, you're a third of the way done. There is so much left to do. Reviewers are not going to try to find you unless it's me, because usually I'm reaching out to independent developers. If I can find you, if you're an independent developer and it's really hard to find you, probably not going to contact you. But if you're an independent developer and you've got your stuff out, let's say in the independent game developers Facebook page, there's a good chance that you'll see one of my posts saying, hey, I'm Charlie, I work for an independent video game news and review website, be interested in taking on anybody's game. You have to approach the reviewers. Start small and then build your way up. So the problem is a lot of the games, especially, sadly, some of the games that aren't the actual clones of, the actual clones of games are shuffled under because the reviews are from friends. I know your friends are going to support you in everything you do, but you cannot trust them at all. You need to find strangers. You need to in order to actually have a chance to make a profit on your game, you're going to have to give away your game a lot, and it's got to be, and it's going to be free of charge. You want to find people, reach out to reviewers like myself, like a couple. I'm blanking out on the other ones. Shoot, I've got 3 of them in my head, but
You just can't fall for the "my mom thinks I'm cool" trap, right? You can't let people think, oh, this is the greatest game, and they're just kind of yes men. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. You can't fall for that. You have to have a very critical eye of your own game so that when you get it out there, people can give you that review and you'll be like, all right, I understand that needs to be fixed. Let's work on this. Because creating a product and thinking it's finished is the dumbest idea ever because something is never finished. And we see that all the time, even with AAA titles today. That is something's broken, we'll fix it. We'll fix it.
I really don't want to go.
We're not getting there. I'm just using an example.
Right. But you're right. One of the biggest things is, like I said, once you think that you're done, you're a third of the way there. Because when you let it out into the wild, never think that your product is done. Because you may actually learn from the reviewers that aren't your friends, not your family, that there's stuff wrong that you can improve. Maybe not on the game that you're working on, or maybe it is the game you're working on. I had to crush some poor guy's dream who thought, because his friends and his family had said, oh my God, it's the best game in the world. And I looked at it, and I told him, this was when I was also QAing some independent games. Well, look, here's the deal. I'm going to give you, I rate on a 1 to 10 scale. I'm about to give you something below a 4. I could tell you all that's wrong with this, and I could try to help you out, or I could write the review. And he goes, oh no, dude, everyone loves it. Let's, whatever. You know nothing. So I reviewed it. I gave it a 2.4. And that was nice. That was being nice. He got into it. That was like an intro to Visual Basics project. That's what it ended up being. I don't know if everyone knows Visual Basic. Yes? Okay. Visual Basic is...
I know it's a language.
Right. Yeah, it's an older language. It's visual. And it's something that you learn. It's that you're not going to mass produce a game out of Visual Basic. Though I would have loved to when I was in high school and I made a Space Invaders game, which was awesome. With all of my paintbrush characters and whatnot. Anyways. Do not fall for one reviewer's take on your game. You have to average, like I said, you have to get it out to as many reviewers as possible. If those reviewers accept it, they start writing up on it, then you can start going up the food chain. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to get Giant Bomb to look at it, but you're probably going to be able to get other bigger places. And the more publicity you get, the more that if someone were to Google your awesome game, that it pops up like that, the better for you. But you have to be willing to make changes if it's possible to make changes. Now, if someone says, my God, they should bulldoze this entire game and start from the ground up, you're probably not going to do that change. If they said, you need to tweak this, or maybe the controls are a little wonky, an easier fix. Dang it. My brain keeps leaving me, I'm sorry.
It's been one of those weeks.
Yeah.
I'm an advertising person. I mean, I teach, but one of the things I've taught in the past is advertising. And really, you've got to use what people give you as critiques to get out there and kind of advertise as we toss out more buttons. Who doesn't love a button?
Yes.
I mean, there's a bunch of different ways people get their games out, like any advertisement. God, those Geico commercials, oh my God. If I could have been that guy who invented that camel commercial, oh my God, I'd be rolling in it.
Well, now he's in the, now they got the
That would be
movies.
amazing. But video games work on really that idea of bandwagons, that once one person likes it, then another person likes it, and then another person likes it, and it kind of goes down. We just saw that a couple weeks ago with that Flappy Bird game. My 13-year-old middle schoolers that I teach are all playing it, and I've never seen a stupider game in my life. I haven't.
Actually terrible.
It's basically the worst game ever, but there's something about it that when one person started playing it, another person started playing it, and
The other thing was that and like I said, this part of making your independent game successful is just sheer luck. And Flappy Bird had actually been out a year before it really caught on. The reason why it caught on was because somebody was writing some really weird reviews and someone saw it and they started talking about it. And then everyone's like, well, I gotta check this out because someone put a review of it broke up his marriage because he couldn't get away from the And then there was like random, like, I felt it was like Style magazine, just like clippings thrown in as a review, 5 out of 5. That's sheer luck, and of course he shut it down. He's like, "Oh God, it's so addictive. I've got to stop it." Okay, sure. One of the things, one of the biggest things is platforms. This is a beautiful time to be an independent developer because there's so many entry points. You don't have to know a specific language to get your stuff out. You can find something that you're more comfortable with, be it iOS, Android, C++, if you're doing, or C Sharp, or any, you have a plethora of choices out there, and you've got a ton of already built engines. You could make a Unity game. You could do
Crytek,
Yeah.
Unity.
Unreal, all that stuff. It's there for the taking. Now, my recommendation is you can run the chance of doing Steam Greenlight, which is actually going to go away. Valve has already said that they're going to do away with Greenlight because it's been a disaster. Now, that's not to say that there's not going to be something like Greenlight with Steam, but they're going to kind of reconstruct it to be a little bit more helpful so that not as many games get bogged down. Because one of the biggest things is when you're looking at a marketplace, there are very few platforms that have a marketplace that's actually going to help you. There's a better chance of your stuff getting buried, because if your stuff is original, then all the clones are going to go in after you, pushing your name all the way to the bottom of the list. Which is another reason why you need to reach out to those developers. Reviewers, and why you need to do some kind of like grassroots campaign. You got to make yourself visible. I am part of the IGDA, that's the International Game Developers Association. I'm also a member of the Georgia Game Developers Association, which is, it was the IGDA Atlanta, then they shut down. So they went, oh, we're going to be just our own stuff, and now there's an IGDA Atlanta and a GDDA. So I'm a member of all of those. But anyways, find like-minded developers, show off your stuff. Chances are they're going to be brutally honest with you because they're hoping that you're going to be brutally honest with them. Mm-hmm. The majority of the time that we went to GDDA meetings, there's always someone running around with an iPad or their laptop saying, hey, before the meeting starts, here's my game. Tell me what you think about it. And that could be one of the best situations because one, you're getting true feedback because there's a good chance you don't even know this person. Two, it's free. A lot of people out there who are willing to help you out want this. And that's where a place like us comes in handy because the only thing that we're looking for is the ability to test your game. If it's $1.99 and you really want us to test it, and for some reason you just can't part with those $2, maybe. But the majority of the time, if you just give us a free download code, we're on it, and we will pump out a review. But the other thing about showing off your games at a developer's meetup is that you're now getting the word out. Because chances are, if someone sees another developer playing your game, they're gonna do the over-the-shoulder look, and then they want to know. And then they'll talk. If it's good, then they'll talk about it to other developers. Developers need to stick together. Holy crap, do they need to stick together? You are not each other's enemies. Yes, I understand there's a ton of people out there who are trying to rip you off. But developers are your best friends. If you can find them, if you can share your stuff, the sky's the limit. But like I said, a lot of it has to do with luck. I wish it did not. But if you are going on something other than PC, if you're going on the iOS, you're going on Android, chances are you're gonna have to go on both. You have to expose your game as much as possible, especially if your company or your group name is not recognizable. Once it becomes recognizable, then you can start, if you want to, you can start narrowing the amount of platforms that you're putting your game on. But the entrance is the hardest thing. You have to get it out there. You've got to have people start talking about it. And then of course, you know, when your game's awesome and everyone loves it, then you start, you know, you make sure that they know the group's name, so that the next time it comes out, or next time you bring out another product, I know that name. And you don't have to try as hard. Now, I'm not saying that you can then go, oh, the product will speak for itself. But entrance into making money, and the thing is, here's one of the biggest deals. It's hard as balls to actually become the next Angry Bird, to be Flappy Bird. Chances are you are not going to make a profit, a sizable profit at all, the first 4 or 5 games you bring out. It's going to push you to the limit, and if you're strong enough, you could do some amazing things. Or hell, you could, if you show enough determination, it might catapult you into the ability of getting the AAA title job as a developer, whatever. Studios are looking for people who have finished products, not just ideas. If you have an idea and you come into an interview, chances are they're going to kick your ass out the door. They want to see a final product. They want to see your visualization of some awesome idea. They want originality.
Oh, me now?
Yeah, you.
Okay. You can't get to that point without having a lot of that feedback. That's where it comes in. You've got to be talking to the people. I mean, we still are a small business. That's why we're even here, because we need the feedback on what we do. It's about talking to people, meeting people, introducing yourself, getting that feedback. Part of what we do as a business even is creating a community so that when we have even a bigger community, people can then come to us with more games and things like that. It's about building that idea.
Right. I mean, really, you can take away, so you think you finished your indie game and you think you're done, and you basically just replace it with, so you think you finished your product and you think you're done. Our product is trying to help out the independent developers. We're also trying to make a name for ourselves. We're trying to help out everybody, and in return, hopefully, we get a pat on the back. And we know that we're far from done.
But you have to have a critical eye. When I teach, my first period is always the worst. I can tell you, every lesson I do, first period's the worst. But by the time I get to my 5th period, it's much better, because I've tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and figured it out to where the point of the matter is I've got it close to perfect, where I know what I want to say and what I want to do with my kids. It's the same with your game. You've got to know what you want to do. Even this convention, we've got 6 people in this room because they don't have enough of the sheets. They don't even have any sheets. They don't have enough information for people to know what panels are around. That's something they will tweak because they've done it this time, and now they know to do it differently next time, hopefully.
Well, that's what we hope.
Hopefully.
That's what we hope, is that they tweak it so that people actually.
Everything you do, everything you create, everything you make all runs within the same pattern. The first time you do it, it's not going to go well. I promise you. It will never go well. But when you tweak and you tweak and you tweak and you take an honest, critical eye, don't go with, my mom thinks I'm cool. That's just not true. We all know you're not that cool. You've got to get other people other than your mom to say you're cool. All right? At that point, then you might actually even have some footing to get some people around you.
Right. You know, one of the weirdest things, and for some reason this happens a lot when I'm reviewing PC games, is PC developers have this want to be original with the way that they control the game. They'll change the standard controls because they think it's awesome. And of course, after playing the game for 8 months, yeah, it could be awesome. But you have to understand that the average person is not going to understand that at all. I've reviewed more than 10 games where they decided to get rid of WASDA and put it somewhere else. Why? If it's not broke, don't fix it. If you want to succeed, you have to be able to handle criticism. One amazingly good example, and yet bad, is Phil Fish, the guy behind Fez. He's never going to make another game because he doesn't have a hard enough
Isn't it a hard shell?
There it is, hard shell. Oh, I couldn't figure that word.
Yeah, the word shell, that's difficult.
Well, first of all,
He's a psychopath.
he's nuts. But you've got to be able to take criticism. But there are going to be people who are going to be, and pardon my language, total asshats, just to be asshats. I mean, that's the beauty and the downfall of the internet, is that you can get away with almost saying anything on the internet, as long as it's not a strategic bombing plan for the president of the U.S. or France. But
Don't say that. They might be listening now.
yeah. But I know that there has been a lot of push towards Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Those are two funding websites to try to help you get your game out there. If you decide, if you're in a group or if you yourself decide to do a Kickstarter project, the only thing I warn you about is that, first of all, really map out how much everything's going to cost. Don't just go, I think $20,000 would do it, because you're going to find out that money's going to go away quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The upside and downside to Kickstarter is you're going to get your project funded, but you're not going to make any money off of it. Why? Because all that money that people are paying you is going into development, and all the swag, the posters, the T-shirts, the pins, the exclusive characters, which cost you more time for programming, a different modeling, and all that stuff. But on the flip side, you could run into the Double Fine problem. Double Fine, they did Double Fine Adventures. They set the goal at $400,000. They ended up with $3.5 million. Once they surpassed the 400,000, I think they kicked the financial person or financial planner out of the room, because this past January they had gone through all $3.5 million and they barely had enough for an alpha. Why? Because they decided as soon as, for all those stretch goals, we'll add another world, we'll add another playable character, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this. And of course everyone started throwing money at them, so they had to come up with additional stretch goals really fast to keep the money going in, because once you get the money, then the sky's the limit. But you have to understand how much it's going to cost for the artist, how much it's going to cost for the coding, for the bug testing, for the extra dialogue, all that stuff. And if you can do it right, you'll come out dead even. And that's where you want to be. You're not going to make a profit off of the Kickstarting part. It's the time after you release your product. Because you already have built an audience because of Kickstarter. They believe in your product enough to give you money. I am guilty of doing that way too much. I fell for the Double Fine trick twice. I just now have episode 1 of Broken Age, which is what Double Fine Adventure became. But if you can break even, that's amazing. And since you already have built an audience that believes in you, they will play the game, and then of course their friends will see it, and then you've got free marketing. Of course, you can take it a step further. Once your game's released, reach out to reviewers. Chances are, if you have a big enough project, the bigger companies are going to be looking at you, because they're like, well, hell, they got a lot of money for this, so there must be something to it. So you might have an easier time of not having to go from the smaller review companies all the way to the top. You could probably just cut right into the middle, and so you don't have to give away as much free product. But if you do it right, you can make a good amount of money, which is going to help start your next project, because you always have to believe there's a next project, or add a DLC or something. You cannot stop. If you stop and just go, I'll just let it roll, and then once the money dries up, then I'll try something else, you're going to find that the period between when it really stops and when you can bring out the next product is going to be too long. one of my buddies, he's a developer in Georgia. His name is Burton. He made Robots Love Ice Cream for the iOS. I think he kickstarted, ended up with $20,000, and right now he's about to release the product, and he is considering himself lucky at being $2,000 in the hole. You gotta take risks. If you can't take risks, then you're never gonna make it.
It's called being an entrepreneur. The people who take the risks to make the money.
But you have to take smart risks. You can't be like, I've got the most amazing, brilliant idea in the world, and it's gonna make me millions, and then just go on that. You see what everyone's playing. Don't make another zombie game, or another Flappy Bird, or another Angry Birds, or there was a really funny rip-off of Angry Birds. It was like Pissed Off Pigeons. I don't know how that one got through. By the way, if you're trying to make a Flappy Bird clone, you can't anymore for iOS or Android. They actually shut the door on that. But you can make it for the PC. And there's a lot of indie developers who are doing it because they're trying to make a quick buck.
I just saw a guy did one for the Atari 2600. Just because just to see if he could do it. He said it took him about an hour.
It doesn't take much.
No, because it's a terrible game. There's no substance to the game, but that's
sometimes part of it, actually. You can create a game that is literally so dumb that people want to play it. Whoever thought flinging birds would be so much fun? And what is it? Rovio are billionaires off of one game, and they've produced other games, and those games suck.
Rovio's they now have an apparel line. They've got
They had a
plushies. They've got a cartoon. There's a movie in the
T-shirts,
works.
Binders,
They've
food.
They've got deals
everything.
with Star Wars. They've released 2 Star Wars ones now. I mean,
They got lucky. They
Right.
got lucky. But the fact
And
is, that's
And that's really a clone of Castle game.
yeah. There's been loads of
It was
those
like
types
medieval.
of games, and they hit it right with their idea. They hit it right with their timing, their marketing, who pushed it, who got it out there, and
Right. Well, I
off they
mean,
go.
one of the things is if you're going for a simple design, it has to be fun. I understand that some people want to make their magnum opus right off the bat. That's probably not going to be the best thing to do. A lot of people want to make a specific, if you have enough support from a specific chunk of the audience, let's say you want to make this tactical RPG, like Banner Saga. If you've got enough people believing in it, yeah, do it. But if you're trying to force a type of game or a specific twist on a genre, chances are it's not going to pick up. The beauty about Angry Birds and Puzzle Quest and all that stuff is that it's repetitious, which makes it easier for you to, kind of be like, well, okay, this level I'm adding an extra hill, and I can call that a day. And I just add it to my game instead of all the extra stuff.
there's also a difficulty to it. Like Angry Birds is not difficult. You fling birds, but when you don't get all those pigs or you don't get your 3 stars, there's that, I guess, almost betting mentality of I didn't win this time, but I know I can do it the next time. I will end up in the black if I just keep playing this enough. And you
Right.
do, and eventually you get better and better. The game that I cannot stop playing, but I only play it occasionally. What's the card game? Black, white cards?
Cards Against Humanity.
Thank you. Genius. It's apples to apples, and apples to apples have been around for years and years and years. And then someone said, let's do an adult version of this.
As
So
dirty
people,
as we can make it.
as dirty as we can make it, people will drink and they will laugh. Genius. Who thought a card that says a bigger, blacker dick would be hilarious, but when you pose it with kids with ass cancer, bam! You're done. You've created a game. I don't know who marketed it, who got it out, but it worked because people I knew played it, and then people I knew played it, and then eventually my wife and I got it, and now we have people who played it and they got it, because it works like that.
It's
Angry
easy.
Birds.
It's easy to pick up. That's the main thing.
Uh-huh.
Now, of course, we've basically been talking about games that you're trying to make an immediate profit off of. There is, of course, the route of going free to play with microtransactions. It's a much more dangerous route, but you can actually get a lot more revenue out of it if you do it right. In my opinion, there are two types of free to play games with microtransactions. There's one where as soon as you hit the start button, you start getting slapped upside the face going, you know what, you suck. And the reason you suck is because you didn't buy this little thing for $1.99.
You know we're getting into our next panel, right?
No, we're not.
Okay. We're getting into our next
Shut up. That mentality, it works for some companies, but 90% of the time it's going to fail because people are going to get pissed off that they can't really get into the game. Then you've got the, oh my gosh, Scallywags. That's one of the guys.
Scallywags?
Yes, Pirate of the Scallywags, which is amazing, easy puzzle. It's match 3.
It's like, it's like
Scurvy
Candy Crush.
Scallywags,
There it
that's
is,
what
thank you. There it
Yep.
is on my phone.
Oh God, I don't even talk about Candy Crush.
Hey, it works. You have Scurvy Scallywags.
Well, no. The game is fine. What the company is doing is bullshit.
Hey, they're about to have their IPO. They're about to be billionaires.
And the IGA is going to stop it.
Mhm.
Anyways, you have that type of mentality, and then of course you got the Scurvy Scallywags and Marvel Puzzle Quest, where technically you can play that game for free always, but if you want a little extra, you put $4.99 in there. I've played both types of games. I've reviewed both types of games, and I have to tell you this: the type of game that I've invested 4, 5, 6 hours into, and then think, man, if I just had that extra slot, or if I just had a couple extra of these power-ups, I'm gonna buy it. I have put more money into Marvel Puzzle Quest than buying a AAA title. Because I am so invested in the game. I have invested my time there, and I want to continue to do so. If you can make a game that works with that mechanic, yes, there is a very valid chance that that a lot of gamers will never pay, and there's a chance that a lot of gamers won't get enough into the game to pay for it. But the gamers that do get to that point are going to be loyal as hell, and they're going to go in with the mindset of, oh, $2.99, I got $2.99, I could do that.
And then you'll be allowed to be able to make another game. I mean, that's it. Once you get there, you might have to go through 3 or 4 games that may never sell or may ever make money, but eventually you'll hit that one, and you'll do it. It's playing the lottery. You play enough, eventually you might actually win $20.
Yeah.
Or $350 million. What was the last one? 450? You know,
What?
the last lottery was on Wednesday, and it was like $450 million. I would love to win that one. Then you can make all the games you want.
Yeah.
But
So, since we have
15 minutes.
15 minutes, questions? Yes, sir.
So you're talking about, when you're talking about the free to play with microtransactions,
Mhm.
and you're talking about the second one, where you know you can buy things, for example, like boosts or extra like abilities. What about the ones like Flow, where it's a free game, but you can pay for extra levels? Would that fall under what you're talking about with the second type, or?
Yeah, I mean, because you're already getting something for your time. That goes, I mean, it's more of a DLC thing,
Yeah.
but at the same time, that is kind of a, the best way,
Shareware.
do what?
Takes me back to shareware with
Yeah.
Doom.
Well, there is a shareware game called Cyber Dogs that I played the shit out of that one. It's a really fun game. Anyways, there is that model, which is basically you have the core game and you can add on stuff for your own enjoyment. There's a fighting game, I cannot remember off the top of my head, that has like I think 4 or 6 characters. But if you really want this other character, you could buy the DLC and bring him in so that you can play with him. But you don't have to. It's not going to change the mechanics of the game. They're all balanced players. That's another thing. is, in my personal opinion, please stay away from pay-to-win games. Don't do it. It's terrible. You're gonna piss off so many people. Oh yeah, I decided to spend $15 to gonna get the Uber sword of awesomeness and make myself a badass towards all the people who don't have the $15 to spend. There is a correct way and a wrong way of doing it, in my opinion. The right way to do it is where, yes, it helps out the player, but doesn't create this huge gap between the players who are not spending money and the players that are spending money. I understand you want to empower those players, but at the same time, you don't want to piss off the people who could be potential helpers in getting more people to play the game. Did that answer your question?
I think so.
Okay. Question?
So what you're recommending is an indie developer is, once the game's developed, they should have like a press kit to send out with, you know, actual full-blown version of the game.
Create that press kit. Get your, I mean, you're gonna also have to pay for marketing. We even talk about marketing. Get someone who knows what they're doing to make an item that is visually pleasing to people when they see it. It's not just a picture of like your main character sitting on the box not doing anything. It needs to tell somebody about the game. Like when you give it to the game, you just can't be like.
So you're saying a physical press kit as
I
opposed
think
to
so.
like
I
an
think
email?
You don't.
I think you need a physical
don't.
press kit. See, he doesn't
We're
think so.
in a digital
This is
age
they
where you
become
can
a married
just
couple and fight.
We've known each other long enough at this
look.
point.
Yes, you could do a physical press kit, but I'm going to be honest with you. That type of press kit is for AAA titles. That's when you're trying to wow like a giant bomb.
And that's where I would think you would.
Yeah, but you when you have the finished product and you're trying to get it out to the first set of reviewers or maybe the second tier of reviewers, it's nice to have, you know, a nice PDF that outlines everything and actually is written well. Not, please have someone who has some kind of English background look at your letter before you send it out, because it looks bad on you, and it really makes it hard for us to review the game. But also, in-game screenshots. If you really want to, you can add concept art if you've got concept art. But I'm personally looking for in-game art that I can throw up there when I write my review. It makes it a lot easier. And then of course the full-blown version of the game. You know, if you want to throw in like the super uber special stuff too in that game, I'm fine with that. One of the companies down in Atlanta, they are High Res Studios. They are the guys behind Global Agenda, Smite. Yes, I have the super uber tribes. Yeah, I have like the super uber version of Smite, where I've got I will always get all the gods, which is awesome, with all the different skins. Holy crap, just derailed again. But if you make it look like you put time into building that press kit, that's the thing. If you care about how you're presenting the game to reviewers, the reviewers are going to care about your
And that's
about
why
the
you
game.
need a physical press kit.
You don't need a physical press
Because
kit.
it shows you care more.
You're not. No, God, that's too much money. That's what Kickstarter's for. That's the swag and stuff. If you're an independent developer, don't start printing stuff out at Kinko's and buying up stuffed animals from Build-A-Bear.
I didn't say you do that. I think you need to get that real thing. You talk about caring more. That's part of it. When you can get real things out there to people, I'm telling you, it works better.
Digital distribution is the future. You want everybody. Here's
Tell
another.
that to those people out there who didn't know we had a panel today because they try to do digital distribution of the panel list.
They're not giving away
Bam.
swag.
Gelbaum win.
Totally swag.
Can I send like a Sherwork CD as a press kit?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, I love those things.
well, and she's where I was just thinking. I was like, well, you could send out, you know, I guess your physical, but with a
With like
knockdown version, and then email the full,
Mhm. Well, you know,
for a full version.
right. What would be fun, and it would probably cause quite a fit of nostalgia, is if you and a bunch of other developers decide to throw a demo onto a disc and then you mailed it out to all the reviewers. They'd probably go like apeshit crazy, like, "Oh my god, I remember getting my PC Gamer and I had that right there." I also remember the days where the patches for games were on those discs,
Right.
because there's no such thing as downloading your patch.
Right, we bought PC Magazine to get the update for, what was it?
Grand
Wait,
Theft Auto or
I'm probably older than you guys. I remember Duke Nukem, we got
Yep.
that way.
yep, Wolfenstein. I got
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein over there.
Well, yeah. Actually, that's how I was introduced to Wolfenstein, was shareware.
Yeah.
And it came on the cover of a magazine as a demo.
See, my thing is I do much more of the marketing advertising side, and that's what I like. I play games, I have no clue to make one. I could sell the hell out of it if I had a chance to. I mean, Charlie knows I'm great with the business and talking to people about it, but I don't know how to make one.
So since you're in Atlanta, I'm from Atlanta, you go to the meetup group there also?
Okay, there's two. There's the IGDA one that's at David Buster's. I can't afford that, so I don't go there. But there's also the GGDA meetups that happen every second Tuesday. They change locations every single month.
Because the one I usually deal with was with the guys that do a lot of the stuff for Cartoon Network and all them.
That's the
Right.
IGDA meetup.
Yeah, the Thrust.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Thrust is dead.
They
But
did.
Jesse just decided to close it one day. I don't know why. And Jesse won't talk to me, so.
The one time I went and I wasn't really impressed with them,
Yeah.
but I did meet some amazingly talented artists
Oh, yeah.
for UI and character development.
There are so many artists in Atlanta that are just dying for a chance to show off their stuff.
Yeah,
It's amazing how, because you've got,
I wish I could afford them.
Yeah.
Because
okay,
I keep telling you, if you didn't hate my sister. She is a gifted artist, very great at freehand, but her attitude can drive anybody away.
But yeah, and that's hard being an independent trying to.
Yeah.
It's like you do. I just need you to do something small, and you want $5,000. It's like okay. But and that's part of the.
That starts to be our cue that people want to come in here for the next panel.
no, that might just be the panelists. I don't know.
I was trying to think what else with the along the lines of the press kits. Which one?
Is it time to start wrapping up though? It's 7 minutes. Can you wrap up in 7 minutes?
Sure, I can.
Oh, no, it's me. I mean, really what we're trying to say here is that you create your game and there's still just too long to go. See, he says it's 1/3. I only think you're 10% done with. When you create your game, you still have a long way to go. It's about putting love and care into your product and believing that even that you're done, you are never actually finished.
Well, when you think you're finished, I always consider that like, this is alpha. That's because it's a living.
Right.
Yeah. I would say
You're
being
never
done and finished are two completely different things.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, and you mentioned a lot of AAA titles like, and I'm gonna say one that I think is just completely gone to shit is, I was a big Call of Duty fan, and they have.
It's the same fucking game. They're doing the Madden thing.
Okay, yeah, okay, so you're of the
Yes.
same mindset
Yes.
that, and what he brought up about download content, it's like, all right, when you look at the total cost of that game, and I'm looking at it as a developer, I'm like, they're using artwork from the first Modern Warfare, and I'm paying $60 for this. And really, all you've done is you haven't even reskinned it. What am I really paying for? I'm not. I refuse to download any or
Right.
even
Well,
buy the
I
game
mean,
anymore.
one of the strategies, not for Call of
I
Duty's
guess this goes
Activision,
into
right?
the other panel now.
Yeah.
Call of Duty's Activision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. EA is a dirty, dirty, dirty company. They turn off their servers after 2 years. So any of their products, if they've got other iterations like Madden, what are we, 14 now?
I think we're
Okay, so Madden 12 is now no online play. They turned off the servers. They're forcing you to always only be 1 year behind, which is stupid. I mean, but that goes into our next panel that happens at 4 o'clock right here in this room. So tell your friends, because apparently they're not telling anybody.
We're not. We're walking around. If you've seen us, we walking around with the sign outside.
I thought it was just a costume you guys were doing, like the end of the
No,
year
no.
type thing.
Yes, it's a costume. It's a costume.
Because I didn't really get a chance to read it, because the couple times I saw you, we were talking something.
Yep. So, anyways, thank you for coming. Please check out our website if you are an independent developer or know of an independent developer who's looking to get a little help in the review realm. Just point them at our website. We have a lovely form on the left-hand side of every page where you can contact us. Well, contact me, us,
Yeah.
and we will try to help or review your game.
Are you also on like some of the websites? Go out there and check out like Flash Game Distribution, Moki Ads, those kind of places.
No, I'm you can find my reviews on Giant Bomb. You can find me all over the indie game Facebook groups. And of course, the Georgia Game Developer Association website. We got a YouTube channel. We do a live broadcast. Well, I do a live broadcast with our guy from Minnesota every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
To make you feel any better, I was trying to do it last week with you guys, but then Snowpocalypse 2.0 hit.
Yeah, don't get
Redux.
Redux,
Yeah.
Clusterflake, Snowpocalypse 2, Revenge of the Snow, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you for coming to the panel. We hope to see you at 4 o'clock, where we will continue this awesomeness into the destruction of the game industry, which is really depressing. Now that we just told you how to get into the game industry, now we're going to tell you it's gone.
It's gone.